everyone, it's Carolyn. I'm back for part 2 of my Cloak and Dagger Christmas prompt recommendations videos. This one, I did 3 prompts in the first video, and this one I will do 5 prompts. I will finish off the reading prompts, and then I will do a third video for the last prompt, the Columbo prompt, because I have so many TV shows to talk about for that one. So, anyway, let us continue with the reading suggestions. Okay, so for the next prompt, that is the Agatha Raisin prompt, which is read a amateur sleuth book, read a mystery with an amateur sleuth. So first one is, and again, this is a repeat, but that is the Flavia de Luce series by Alan Bradley, which again is about a 11-year-old named Flavia de Luce, who is she's definitely an amateur sleuth. She is a I was gonna say child detective, but yeah, I guess she's a child detective and amateur sleuth. Because she always kind of happens upon murder, and she is an incredibly observant and smart 11-year-old, so she is always the one who ends up kind of solving the cases. And she's also a keen chemist, so that helps her a lot as well. And again, this is one that is a little bit later in the books, so I haven't actually read this one yet. This is book 8, and I'm getting ready to be on book 7. But yes, I completely love this. I think Flavia is, to me, I really like her. I can imagine that for some people might not like her because she's very, I don't know the right word. I want to say precocious, but that's I don't know. She's very unique, I will put it that way, and I really love her. And I love all of the secondary characters. I really love the dynamics of the characters in this book, or between the characters in this book. Book series, because I haven't read this one yet, obviously. I love the setting, and I think I said this in the last video, but the series has so many different things that so many different people would like. Like, if you like child protagonists, you should read it. If you like England in the 50s, you should read it. If you like science, you should read it, because she talks about chemistry all the time. If you like mysteries, obviously read it. There are so many literary references in these books, so I love that. It's completely fantastic. So, very highly recommend. And then next is, this one, I don't have the book to show, but it is Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. Now, this is a little bit weird for me to include this in this prompt, because there is, the two people who are the primary characters / mystery solvers in this trilogy are Lisbeth Salander and Michael Blomkvist. I can never say his last name, but anyway, one of them is a incredibly intelligent computer hacker, and the other is an investigative journalist. So being an investigative journalist like Michael Blomkvist, I'm just not going to say the last name anymore because I can't, it's very hard for me to pronounce, but anyway, he has done this kind of thing before, where he's obviously doing investigative journalism. He's done investigative work before, but he's still, technically speaking, an amateur sleuth, because he's not a licensed, he's not a private detective, or he does Like, he's not on the payroll with the police, that kind of thing. But yeah, I just very highly recommend these books. Well, I say books, I haven't actually read the 2 sequels yet. I've just read Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, but it is completely fantastic. I think when I recommended this 2 years ago for Cloak and Dagger Christmas, can you guys tell that I need to expand my repertoire a little bit? But I think I included this then, and then I also included a trigger warning because this book does include sexual violence, but it's very intentional on the author's part as far as it's included in order to illustrate the overall message of the trilogy as a whole, the Millennium Trilogy. So, yes, I will include that as a trigger warning, so there is that. But the book overall is incredible. The way that it's written, the intensity, the characters, the mystery itself. I just very highly recommend if that's something that you can handle. I think it's incredibly well written. So, there's that one. And then next is, again, uh, Miss Marple. And again, I don't have a book to show, and I'm sorry. But this is, like, she's one of the best amateur sleuths ever. Because she is so she very much takes the, oh, I'm just a little old lady, don't mind me kind of uh, uh, way of getting information out of people, and it is fantastic. Like, she acts like she's only sort of interested in what's going on, or she'll like sit and she'll be knitting and she'll just listen to everything around her, and that is how she ends up solving the cases that she does. And it's, I completely love her, and I very highly recommend. Next up is another prompt, and it is the Hercule Poirot prompt, which is read a Golden Age mystery. Okay, this is a bad illustration, or a bad prop that I have here, because this is written not in the Golden Age, but it's illustrating a character who a lot of his books are from the Golden Age, which my suggestion here, oh, sorry, I should have said, when it says Golden Age Mystery, it's Golden Age Mystery, which is a book published between 1920 and 1945. This was not written between 1920 and 1945, but several of the Poirot books were, including the first one, Mysterious Affair at Styles, was written in 1921, I think. And then obviously several of the ones after that. And really for this, I just recommend any Agatha Christie written in that time period, because so many of them are fantastic. There's Poirot, there's Marple, there's Tommy and Tuppence, there's some of her standalones. So, yes, just anything Christie between 1920 and 1945. And then the second suggestion I have for this, and unfortunately, again, it's one that I don't have to show because I actually, when I read it out of the library. But that is The Mystery in White by J. Jefferson Farjan, which is sort of similar to Murder on the Orient Express as far as the setting goes, because actually how it starts is a bunch of people are on a train, and the train gets caught in a snowstorm, caught in a snowbank, and they have to stop for the night. And a group of maybe like 10 or so strangers decide that they really don't want to spend the whole night and the next day waiting for the train to be fixed on the train. They really want to go and find shelter. So they go out into the bad weather, and they come upon a huge country house that they go into, and it's they walk into like a Goldilocks and the Three Bears situation where everything in the house is set up like the family is home. There's fires in the fireplaces, there's food on the tables, everything like that, but no one is there. So they decide to stay, and then, of course, there is a murder. They find out that, I think they find out that, I forget, like, it's been a while since I've read it, and I forget if it's that they find out that someone on the train was murdered and they decide to go to the house, or they find out that someone, I think they find a dead body in the house. So they know that there's a murderer nearby. So then it's obviously them trapped in this house in this snowstorm, because of course the snow gets worse, so then they can't leave, and it's them trying to figure out what happened and who the murderer is and how to, not get killed, basically. And I love this book. I really thought it was fantastic. It was written, I want to say, in about 39, but I could be wrong. It could have been like 29, but it was definitely written in the golden age period. And yeah, I just really loved it, so I highly recommend. Okay, how am I doing on time? All right, we're fine. Okay, next up is another prompt, and sorry, I'm like trying to readjust. But anyway, this one is Detective Galileo, which is a translated mystery or mystery set in a different country. Again, I'm really disappointed in myself because I only have one suggestion for translated mystery, and that is, again, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. This was translated. It was originally written in Sweden. It was published in Sweden, written in Swedish, and translated into English. And yeah, I basically everything that I said about it in the previous prompt is why I think you should read it. It's very intense, but incredibly good. And then for the set in a different country, I have several different suggestions for this. One is Nine Coaches Waiting by Mary Stewart, because this is predominantly set in France. And I should have explained, when we say different country, we mean different country from the one that you live in. So since I live in the US, all of my suggestions are outside of the US, so I hope these help. But yes, so Nine Coaches Waiting is set in France, and then Caribbean Mystery by Agatha Christie, which is a Miss Marple mystery, is actually set in the Caribbean. And then Death on the Nile, which is one of her Poirot mysteries, is set in Africa because it's set on the Nile. And then another Poirot is Murder on the Orient Express, which is actually set in several different countries, but mostly set on the train. But the train obviously goes through the different countries. And then Hamish Macbeth by M.C. Beaton, which these are all, I believe, all set in Scotland. And then there are several Agatha Christie's that are, of course, set in England. And I'm trying to think of other mysteries. The Flavia de Luce books are set in England. And actually, I think the later ones, so the one that I'm getting ready to read, As Chimney Sweepers Come to Dust, I believe it's actually set in Canada. So there's a Canadian one. Next prompt is Kinsey Milhone, which is read a book with a private detective. And the two that I thought of were, of course, the ones that I've already shown, which are Hercule Poirot is a private detective. He actually, he was initially a police detective, but then when Mysterious Affair at Styles starts, he's actually retired, and he sort of becomes a private investigator, private detective by accident, starting in Mysterious Affair at Styles. So yes, he is a private detective. And then so, of course, is Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Yes, he is a private detective. I don't remember. I'm trying to think if he has done anything else. Like, I know Dr. Watson does before the books start, but I'm trying to think like if Sherlock has ever done any other profession. But anyway, he is a private detective who often people often enlist his help in the police, like Inspector Lestrade. So yes, those are my suggestions for private detective. Okay, next is Flavia de Luce, a children's mystery or a new to you series. I didn't know, like, I was a little confused about suggestions for new to you series because, like, I don't want to suggest ones that I haven't read yet. So I just decided instead to stick with the children's mystery side of it. And these are all books that I've read when I was much younger, so I hope they still hold up. But one of them were was the Cam Jansen series. I should have looked up who the writer is before I made this video, so apologies that if you want to read these, you'll have to look up the author. What I'll do is I'll look it up and then I'll put the author in the description. But anyway, the Cam Jansen books are a children's mystery series, and when I say children's mystery series, they are like definitely young elementary school age. So like not even middle grade, like probably, I don't know, like first to third grade, I would say. And Cam Jansen is a young girl who I think is in like fourth grade, and she actually has a photographic memory. Her, I forget what her real name is, but her nickname is Cam, short for camera, because she has a photographic memory. And she and her best friend sort of accidentally solve cases, and these are never, to my knowledge, it's never like murder or anything like that, because these are books for young kids. So it's always like, something is missing or something like that. And the one that I distinctly remember that I really enjoyed was one where they go on a class trip to the zoo, and I think like, oh gosh, I forget what it was that went missing, but I knew it had something to do with the monkey house. And I just really remember liking this one. So yeah, I just highly recommend these books in general. If you like reading books that are set in that age range. And then another set of books that are a little bit older, I think these books are probably more for like older elementary school kids, but they are the Animal Arc books by Ben M. Baglio / Lucy Daniels. Again, these are not like murder mystery. They're all like, lighthearted mystery. The Animal Arc books involve a girl called Mandy Hope, And she and her best friend James solve missing animal cases because her parents are vets and they run a veterinary practice called Animal Arc. I think it's called the Animal Arc. And I loved these books when I was little. I read, oh gosh, I think I got into these books when I was about 11 or so, like 10 or 11, which is probably a little bit older than the actual age that they are aimed at. Um, but I loved these. I read probably the first, I don't know, 18 or so, maybe more. Some of my favorites were Puppies in the Pantry, which is like the first or second one, Bunnies in the Bathroom, which is the 15th one, I believe, Squirrels in the School, which is the 17th one, um, Sheepdog in the Snow, which is like the holiday special. I think that's book number 7 or so. I really loved these books and I very highly recommend. And then the last one, and this is a weird one because I've only read one of these books, which I can't believe I've only read one of them because my mom owns so many of them. But the Nancy Drew series by Carolyn Keene. My mom owns several of these, and I really need to read them. But I remember reading one that was like one of the more modern ones. It was called Nancy Drew and the Mystery at Shadow Ranch, I think. And I read this one in 4th grade for a book report, and I completely loved it. And I literally have no idea why I haven't read more since then, but I really recommend just based off of that one book. They're really, really good. Okay, so the last prompt is the Columbo prompt, which I'm going to do a different recommendation video for. So I will film that tomorrow, probably when I film my TBR. But those are all the recommendations I have for the reading prompts, and I'm sorry that these videos were so long, and I'm sorry that at this point I seem very out of breath. I've done a lot of takes for these, so now I'm just like, oh my gosh, like breathe. But anyway, sorry about that, and I hope you enjoyed my suggestions. Again, I hope that all the overlap was okay. Hopefully, some of my suggestions people will enjoy. So I hope people try some of these, and I hope that many of you are going to be participating in Cloak and Dagger Christmas. And thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.